this is Dee again with Unplug Grief Ministries, and I'm here to share with you. We had invited a guest, Hamnish Gould, to be part of us to share his story and how he had to deal with grief. Unfortunately, I don't know where he is. I've sent him messages and he has not yet responded, so that's what happens when you're in the middle of a move, in the middle of job transitions and everything. Everything gets scattered and you forget to do certain things, and I can't wait till I'm in my own place where I can be more organized. I can see my calendar and I can remind my guest speakers to be on. And I know Dr. Ed, I'm going to send him a reminder. We'll be here. I don't know why my microphone is not working, but I hope you can hear me okay. I know we missed Amanda at the first session. She's recovering from she's having side effects, so she's still recovering from her COVID. Hemish, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm not sure where he is. He's in college, so there's a possibility that he had an exam or something that he had to do today. And I'll find out more, and maybe I just need to reschedule him. But he's going to have to be rescheduled until after the holidays. That's okay. It gives me more spots to fill up faster. But it's sad because I really look forward to hearing his story as well. And I know it was going to be a fulfilling and a good, happy ending story. For most of us, that has happened. I know for many, it hasn't. That's okay. That's not the right word or term I should be using. I'm just saying it doesn't make you less of a person. It doesn't make your story less of a person. So that's what I mean. That's okay. You're still human, just like the rest of us. You still have emotional feelings. Next week, Dr. Ed will be here, and he's going to talk more about our emotions. So I'm going to find a way to really promote him, to get him to come. I didn't do so much of a promotion for Amanda and Ministries. That's my fault. I'm going to try and do as much as I can before my move next weekend. It was supposed to be this weekend, and it got postponed, and I wouldn't be surprised if it gets postponed again. And the way I look at God is testing me. He's testing me, and I'm trusting that whatever He has for me, it has something good and wonderful, and something great is going to come out of this. Whatever it is, God has great things for us. Even through our grief, sometimes our grief overshadows our thoughts, and we forget to feel. We forget to use our emotions. And I want to share this with you real quick, so you understand this. And I know there may be some people who may not believe in God. Listen anyhow. I want to tell you, God is real. I can testify to that in many, many ways. He has done many wonderful things for me and my family and for my church family. But God created us humans to be in His image. And one of the great things that He created about us is He put those emotions in us, those feelings, being happy or sad or being depressed or being hyper, whatever it may be. He created those emotions and those feelings for us to express ourselves. And one of my classes that I'm going to start teaching this fall is, well, there's a number of them. If somebody tells you what we as grievers consider stupid, but before you became a griever, you said the same thing as everybody else, and I'm going to vouch that I am guilty, very guilty of that. I know that I've said a lot of stupid things to grievers. I know that now. So when I look back at it, I'm like, I can't believe I said that. Your emotions, most of the time, are stuffed inside of you. You haven't let it out because you don't have a way to vent, to let it out. And most likely, when you were a child, you were told not to feel bad because there's usually a replacement there. For me, today, it's been 50 years since my mother died. And I remember when we went to go live with my dad, grief was not shared in the way that we are now expressing. And I remember my mother's 1 year anniversary. And unfortunately, I had to grieve under the covers and not allow my sisters to hear me. Because for some reason, that was forbidden. And I think the reason why, I'm going to be honest with you, okay? The reason why I had such a tough time in my teenage years and in my 20s and even into my 30s is because I was always taught not to feel bad and not to express my feelings. So whenever something emotional lost, something emotional happened, my mother died, my grandfather died, this person died, that happened, this happened, that happened. So many things happened, but it was really hard to express my feelings because it was not allowed. And I think a lot of that anger, that resentment, and a lot of that grudge, maybe hate, it was because I couldn't use my, sorry, I don't know why that keeps clicking off. Take the mouse away from it. So a lot of that was boiled down inside of me. That when I became of a certain age, and especially after I learned of my son's diagnosis, all that was pouring out, pouring out. I didn't understand it. My family didn't understand it. My sister didn't understand it. My son didn't understand it. I don't even think my therapist understood it. I said, I remember. And it was a very tough road. It was a tough journey. But I do believe that even through that tough, dark journey, that it prepared me for what I was about ready to do with my son. I know some of you may not believe that. It's okay. But I do. And it brings me comfort to know that even if my past and everything that happened in my past was a dark journey, that dark journey is what prepared me to be what I do now. It's just not the grief of losing my son. It's a combination of lots of stuff. The abuse that was in my family, the multiple grief. There was a lot that was going on. A lot. And I think in those days, 70s and 80s, it wasn't so much, I'm trying to find the right words to use. People did not know how to properly help others. I know a lot of my friends, as I was growing up, was doing a lot of praying. That I'm grateful for. And I also know that there were people that did not know how to help me. And I think that's why there were a lot of deep prayers. But I do believe that my past, and people will say, well, don't look at your past, don't look at your past. But I want to say one thing. Sometimes our past is part of our story to why and who we have become today. You know that statement I heard that says, be the light for someone's darkness? Someone in my past was that light that helped me out of my darkness. And I would like to say that I believe it was my son, Timothy. Not saying there may be others that might have been, yes. But I would like to say it was my son, Timothy. So when I talked about in part one, we need to make sure that when we grieve, no matter how deep or how high or how low we get, I want us to find a way to get our mindset for a little bit during our grief. Take it for a moment out of that grief and place it someplace else on the table. And I want you to find a way in your heart to talk to that person. Be positive. Because I didn't know this, but I know what I know now. I can help you. Love that person. Believe in that person. Pray for that person. Bring their self-esteem up. Give them the motivation. Get them to go. Because that's what we need. I'm not saying that we don't need to grieve for our children, because we do. We do. But I'm saying while we're grieving, we can find ways of healing. And even when we are healed, we can still grieve. And while we still grieve, we can still find joy. We can still find our aha moment. We can still live. And when you find yourself again, and you look confident more of yourself, put that back in, that part of the grief. Because once you change that mindset of your thoughts, you will find that your grief is still there, but you will find that your grief is placed here, where everything else that meant the world to you, whether it be your spouse, your other children, your job, your church family, still there. Because you have again learned to love yourself, to be confident, to trust, to have faith, to have love. If it had not been the change, the way I changed my mindset, I don't think I would have survived my son's death. Even, I'm going to put this in air quotes for my sister, you knew he was going to die. It doesn't matter whether I, as a parent, knew that he was going to die. I am still human. I am still the parent, and he is still my son. His existence was there, and I still had feelings. So I just want you to take a moment to ask God to separate the two for the moment so that you can find yourself again. Because the fact that I believed in me, and that I had faith. For me, I still have believed and have faith in you that you can survive this. Right now, maybe it doesn't feel like it. Maybe right now you think you can't do it, but you can. You can. You can still love your child as much, or your loved one, whoever it may be, as much as you loved them when they were here. You can still keep their existence, their legacy, their honor, their memory alive. And by doing so, that's keeping you alive. Not so that you grieve deeper, but that you bring the existence to a place that keeps your existence alive. And you know and trust and believe that you're going to see them again when Jesus comes. And when we have eternity in heaven together. If it had not been for my son Timothy and the change in my mindset and my heart, I would not be here right now. And I hear this from a lot of parents who talks about they don't want to live. They just want to die. And I think that's probably where I would have been. And I'm thankful that God somehow changed my heart, changed the way I was thinking, so that I didn't end up back into that deep, dark hole. And this time, Timothy wouldn't be there to rescue me. God had to this time. And God will for you. Ask him. Ask him to give you the help, the strength, the courage, the bravery that you need. Let him know that you still love your child so much. And that you still grieve. He understands. His son died too. He grieved. He understands your pain. He understands the heartbreak that you go through. He's not giving up on you. And he's still next to you. And he's not laughing at you. Satan is, but God is not. I think every one of us that survives the loss of a child, parents, and I know we're not supposed to compare losses, and I know there's a difference between losing a child and your parents, because I do feel the difference. Even after I lost my mother. And I grieved for my mother for many, many years. And I think it was because I wasn't taught how to grieve. I wasn't taught to feel bad and to express my feelings. And I think that's the way society is with all of us. And I think that's why we have the difficulty of why our emotions are so deep, down, dark when we lose our children. I believe in you. I trust you can do it. Talk about them. Doesn't matter what other people think or what they say. It's not their loss. It's not their grief. It's yours. But let me educate you so you can educate them to how to help grievers, how to be an effective griever. And I hope you will be able to attend that class, because I learned even through that, I had to do it for me. I had to learn to comfort myself. I had to find a way to help me, because no one else around me wanted to do it, not even therapists. They sat there and listened. They gave some suggestions. but I had to find that light on my journey. Because of that light, I'm here today. Because of that light, I hope you too are out of that darkness. I want you to be. But most of all, God wants you to be. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Please be with us next week when Dr. Ed is here. I think tonight I'm going to start creating his flyer and start really passing it around. I thank you for taking the time to stop and listen, and I hope my story will help you, or at least I hope it will bring you some comfort and some encouragement, because that's what I want to be about. I want to be about your comfort, but I also want to be your encourager. The comforter, the encourager. Actually, I want to tell you something really quick. Comfort is the 7-letter word for encouragement. You are going to be that light to get someone out of their darkness. Trust yourself. Believe in yourself. Yes, you can do it.